Hello, welcome back. Once again, I'm here in my studio. As you guys may know, my last video was revealing my dog's DNA, and in that video I mentioned how I hate the Chow breed. It is a Chinese breed, I believe, a very fluffy dog. They can range from 40 to 70 pounds, so you can have like smaller ones or bigger ones. And they have an iconic blue tongue, and they're very popular in like the 90s and early 2000s, I believe. But I mentioned I hate them. I think they should be obliterated off the face of the earth, and I thought I would elaborate on why I want to destroy that dog, while also drawing the Chow, because as much as I hate the dog, it is very fun to draw. They're very aesthetically pleasing. Honestly, if what I'm about to tell you didn't ever happen, I think it would be one of my favorite dogs because it's just so aesthetically perfect. Like the blue tongue, the fluffiness, the stature, the face, they're just so fucking cute. It's just a shame that they are the way they are because they suck. So anyway, I'm going to draw some Chows. They're super fun to draw, and let's just get into why I hate them so much. So I was, I think, around like 12 when this happened, but I'd known this dog for a while. I lived in a neighborhood. I could walk down the street to get to this girl's house. I was friends with this girl, and her family had a Chow. His name was Coda. And he was a super sweet, cute dog. I loved him. He was super adorable. They would give him lion cuts where they would shave his body and leave his head really big and his tail big. And when they would go out of town, I would babysit this dog. I would go over to the house, I'd feed it breakfast, I would take it for walks, I would let it out multiple times during the day, and then I would go over at night to give it a walk before bed and feed it dinner. And so I'd been alone with this dog. I was very familiar with this dog. Me and this dog got along. I would play with him, and I would even hang out with this dog with the family around because I would go to this girl's house and spend the night, and I've been around this dog in many different scenarios. So one day I go to spend the night at this girl's house again because we're friends, and since I love another dog, it's midnight, we've been watching Adult Swim, and I get up to say goodnight to everyone, and I'm gonna say goodnight to the dog. So I get up to pet the dog, and he, from my recollection, even though I was younger, so, whatever, from my recollection, he showed no signs that anything was gonna happen. Again, I was younger, who knows if there's a sign there. I feel like Chows are very stoic and they don't show a ton of signs. Maybe I'm wrong, but in that moment, he showed no signs. I knew this dog. I'd said goodnight to this dog a million times before, but I go to reach to pet him, and he latches onto my arm and just starts shaking me. I remember in that moment not screaming or anything because I was kind of shocked, but then also I'm just not much of like a panicker. So I remember while he was attacking me, I was like, oh, I should probably scream so that the adults come in the room because it's me, the girl, and her brother in the room, and there's no adults around. So I was like, I should probably scream to get someone in the room. So I start screaming. The dog is latched onto me. He's not letting go. It's not like he bit me and stopped. He had grabbed onto my arm. It was my right arm. And he was shaking me. He was dragging me around the floor. He was not letting go. He had scratched my back with his nails because he was like, he had me on the floor with his mouth around my arm. So he'd scratched my back as well. And eventually the parents come in, everyone's freaking out, and the only reason the dog let go of me was because the brother thought to shove a broom up his asshole. So kind of funny in hindsight, but also he was so fixated on mauling me that he only was gonna let go if something really weird happened to him. So they got him off me, the ambulance came. I don't remember feeling like it was painful. I definitely was in shock. I'd lost some blood, things like that. But I don't remember it being painful. Maybe it was painful, my brain erased it, but I don't know. So anyway, I go to the hospital. They do x-rays of my arm and my back, or my chest, because he had clawed me, so they just wanted to make sure there wasn't broken bones, because keep in mind, this was a larger Chow. He was probably in the 70-pound range. The higher end range, he was a very large Chow. And I was only 12, I think, at the time. And he probably weighed about as much as I did at that point, or maybe a little less, because I was small still. I hadn't hit a growth spurt or anything, so I was pretty small. I'm still not a large human to this day, but, more than that. But anyway, so they were just checking to make sure he didn't break any bones, because he had gotten onto my arm and shook me so much. So luckily no broken bones. The scratches on my back were not that deep. They didn't require any stitches, just some bandaging. And then my arm, I had to get internal stitches and external stitches because the tooth had gone into my muscle and tore muscle fiber. So I had to get that stitched up, get the outer stitched up, and then it was just like a really long healing process because I'm right-handed and I'm using my right hand. So where he bit me, you can't really see the scars anymore because I have so many tattoos. I've tattooed over them, but it's like he got me his bottom tooth here and his top tooth here, and there's like a gash because when he bit, it like cut down into the muscle. So there's stitches up top and the bottom, and you can see like a little dent, and then you can even feel in the muscle where there's like a little dent there, and you can feel like some of this, like where the scar tissue is. And it doesn't really have like you can feel there, but like not like, yeah, there's not like a ton of sensation there. So anyway, I had to do physical therapy while that was healing to, get that muscle worked correctly, make sure it didn't like atrophy, or that I was exercising in a way where I wouldn't re-tear it again. And then for the next probably a couple of years, I would massage it a lot because it would randomly ache. That scar tissue was building up, so I had to like massage that out just to get it to where it wasn't in pain. So that was like a long healing process, many years of like kind of mild pain. I won't complain too much. I obviously still have full function of everything. I'm like super fine, honestly. It's not really even cosmetically bad. It was just kind of a scary moment, and fortunately I don't have any like lingering fear of dogs that much. I'm really not trusting of dogs like pit bulls, honestly, or like larger dogs that are known to be a little aggressive. I know owner, whatever matters, but I'm not gonna be naive about it and pretend that every dog's friendly. I'm not the type who's going to pet a dog without asking. I don't want a dog to come up to me if it's not friendly. And I don't approach dogs that aren't giving me like very clear signs that they're friendly. But again, I'm not afraid of dogs. I'm just not going to be like a super dog person who's like, oh, every dog is a baby puppy friend. But I think the lasting thing is that I don't fuck with Chows at all. I don't like them. When people say like triggered, they're like triggered by something. There's only like 2 real triggers in this world where I'm like, that's a genuine thing. Chows, like I don't fuck with them. They freak me out. Fortunately, I don't see a ton of them. The couple times that I have had to interact with them past that moment was I was walking in a park and this family had a Chow and it was on one of those long lines, and it was like lunging at the end of that line at everyone who came by and was barking at people. And I get it, that breed is a guard breed. It's meant to protect its family. I understand the logic of where Chows are coming from, but the people at the picnic who had that dog should not have thought that was okay. If you have a Chow, I don't think it's appropriate to let people be afraid of your dog in public spaces. And the other time I dealt with a Chow, which really reaffirmed my fear of them, was, like I said in my video where I introduced my dogs, I worked at a dog bathing place. And when I was hired, I'm like, I'm fine with every dog, but if there's ever a Chow that comes in, I won't do it. I told them up front, I'm like, I refuse to do a Chow. I will do any other dog. I will make up for it and help do anything else, but I'm not going to do the Chow. And they were okay with that when I was hired. And it's because Chows just aren't common. They're not going to come in regularly. And also, whenever you put yourself on the schedule to get your dog bathed or groomed, you have to put the breed. So we know what dogs are coming in. We know what breeds they are. And it was only one time 2 Chows came in. And I was like, here's the moment. Everyone knows. And I told my coworkers that day, I'm like, I don't do Chows. I will do any other dog. And there's like certain dog breeds that people don't like doing for various reasons. Like no one likes doing Huskies or German Shepherds because they scream, they're very difficult, they don't like being dried, they don't like their paws being touched. You know, there's other dogs, or like we'll know a certain client and be like, oh, their dog's difficult. So I was like, I'll do like any other dog, any other day to make up for this, but I'm not doing the Chow. I'm gonna have to opt for the other client because it's not like they're the only clients that come in. There's like multiple dogs. So it's like, there was no reason that I would have had to have done those dogs. I just knew that I was making a special request, so I was like, I'll make up for it later. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So we agreed. I was like, you do the Chows, I'll do this other dog, and then another dog plus that to make up for it. The time comes, these Chows come in, and my fucking coworker vanishes into thin air because that's what they did. Because coworkers are awesome. So they vanished for the entire hour that this Chow Chow is supposed to be here. So I'm like, I guess I have to do the Chow Chow that I said I can't do because this person is just a jerk. So I start giving him a bath. I'm like, okay, it's not a big deal. It's just, it's just a dog. And I was just in the bath process. I just put shampoo on it and started. And this dog, again, Chow Chows, I have this impression they're very stoic in their behavior. So that's also why they are a little scary to me, because they are stoic, and that makes them more unpredictable to me, because there are other dogs that show a lot more anxiety before they bite, or they have signs, or they because Chow Chows have a curly tail, you can't get a lot of information from their tail, like a stiff tail or anything, and their faces are very like they don't, they just don't have a lot of expression from my experience. So we've barely gotten into the bath. We put water on him. I'm, shampooing him, and I'm not even near his face. I'm like doing his body, and he lunges at my face, like right at my face. He looked me in the eyes and jumped at it, but they're tied into the bath, so he couldn't reach me, but he was really close to my face. So I just stopped. I went down to the bathroom downstairs and just like cried, because like I said, that's like a genuine trigger is these dogs, and that was like very scary for me. And I just went to the manager and I'm like, look, I can't do this dog. I'm not doing it. I told you when I was hired, I don't do this dog. I don't know where the other coworker is. Someone else needs it. So I just left him in the tub. I'm like, someone else is dealing with that dog. And then I dealt with the dogs that I was originally supposed to do. So anyway, that was my last experience with the Chow Chow, and reaffirmed that I don't fuck with Chow Chows. Other than that, back to whenever it attacked me, we had to go to court, and there's photos of, they took photos of my injury, and there was a lawsuit over it. They weren't even technically supposed to have a Chow Chow because we were in an HOA, and you have to have an insurance for your house for the HOA, and I think they banned certain dog breeds, and Chow Chows were a dog breed that was banned on that list. Oh, and not to mention that after all of this happened, after it had already bit me, this dog was running around the neighborhood loose. They would just let it out and it would just run loose around the neighborhood. So I'm sitting in my house with a wound from this animal, and I'm watching it just run around in my backyard or in the street. So that was fun, but after that lawsuit, I'm assuming the dog was put down because it vanished. I think that was part of the lawsuit we did, is to get the dog put down, or it got rehomed, who knows, but I think it was put down. Anyway, that's why I personally have beef with Chow Chows. If you have had a Chow Chow or own a Chow Chow, I'm sure that you have a great experience with them. I know that dogs can be good in the right environments. I know that not every dog is the representation of its breed, but for me personally, I'm gonna hard pass on those dogs. I'm not gonna promote that dog to anyone. I'm not even really sure who this dog is for, other than like a single person who has no children or anyone else, because I just have not personally met anyone who's had a socialized Chow Chow. But I think it's just a problem of they are super cute, so the people get them not realizing their behaviors, or I don't know what it is. I'm not here to solve the Chow Chow issue. I'm just here to bring up the fact that that's why I hate them. But like any dog, you should research the dog before you get it. You shouldn't just get dogs for aesthetics. If you really want a dog for the aesthetic, then you need to really research that behavior, like any health problems, any behavior problems. Now that we have Google, it's easier than ever to just research the dog you want. Back whenever I got bit, Google wasn't like a normal thing to turn to, and there wasn't a ton of information on the internet yet. It was very young. So I can't really blame them for being that diseducated about this dog. I imagine owning pets back then was kind of the Wild West of like, you hear from other people how they are. So I don't blame anyone anymore for it. It's just something that happened. Stuff happens. People get bit by dogs all the time. Chihuahuas bite people. Jack Russells bite people. Poodles bite people. Every breed of dog has bitten somebody. And mine just happened to be a Chow Chow. Anyway, that's my story. If you want a Chow Chow, do your research. If you've had a Chow Chow and they were an awesome dude, I bet they were. I'm glad you had a really good experience with them. And just stay safe out there, read dog body language, and don't assume every dog is friendly, even if you have known them for a long time. Just learn dog body language is the bottom line. So yeah, that's it. Here's my Chow Chow drawing, and I hope you have a safe time around dogs, I guess. I'll give you... Where's Rocky? Rock! Hello! Are you gonna let me get you? Alright, here's a Rocky tax for all of my ranting and raving about the Chow Chows. I'm like kind of shaking just thinking about it, but that's a me problem. So, ooh, big stretch. Oh yeah, good stretch day. Here's the Rock. And we hope you have an excellent rest of your week. Look at the camera, fool. He's not cooperating. He's under arrest. Goodbye.